Grand Rising Soul Tribe. Tracy here with Sweet Spot e-magazine. Thank you so very much for the likes, the shares, the views, subscribes, comments, donations, everything. I appreciate it all. We're going to go ahead and ring the bell. We're going to clear out this energy and we're going to see what the message the Spirit has for us. If this is your first time, welcome. If you return, welcome back. What's the message? Someone is not mincing words. They're not afraid to say what they need to say. They were afraid to speak before, but now they're no longer mincing words. Bottom of the deck, this Empress. This could be somebody's mother. Could be a star seed, but whatever this is, somebody's going through a lot of healing. Hey, Saida, Grand Rising. Hey, Alicia. And they know their strength. They're no longer afraid to handle life. This is somebody who is going to speak their piece. They are going to say their truth. This is about things that have gone on that people can't see. Nobody would have ever guessed this was going on because on the outside, it just looked like this. But once you go deep within, you see all of this. This had to do with a few people, and it looked like everybody got along great. It looked like everybody was, always happy, always doing fun shit, for those. But then there was you, the forgotten one, the one that was left out, the one that was overlooked. Until you decided it was time for you to go on to calm waters, to close this cycle, to release yourself from the past. And when you did that, there was somebody who felt like they won, like they had enough power just to take stuff out of your hands. Like, oh, you're not going to need that. Give that to me. But they didn't know that you was able to protect yourself. They didn't know that you had like that final strike, that whatever you had, that was going to be the last. And what you put out there showed everyone what everybody, I feel like people kind of wondered, but it's like it was just confirmation. People always kind of wondered because of how this person treated others. People always kind of wondered. And now that person is being forced to sit with themselves. They're being forced to sit with themselves and to go within and to really think about how they treated you, how they were to you. They are being forced. This is not something that they wanted to do. This is someone is being forced to do this. Hey, Miss Pretty Girl Swag. This is somebody who everybody thought that this, they're finding out that this was an abusive person, that this person abused their family. Not just one person, but everybody got some. This is somebody who created situations all because of their ego, all because of their anger, all because they chose not to heal from their own childhood bullshit. This is somebody who abused their family. This is somebody who perpetuated a cycle of abuse. And now everybody is seeing who this person is. They can't deny anything. They cannot deny it if they tried. And they're realizing there was a reason why you walked away, why you dropped it all. You didn't give a shit what title, what the relationship, or because there was no relationship. If somebody is abusing you, there's no relationship. You left it. You left it. It was enough. Like I said, now somebody's trying to figure out why they did all they did. And what was it that made them, and why didn't they seek help? Like, why didn't they try and heal themselves like you were trying to heal yourself? Grand Rising, James and Biscuits. I feel like people are talking, they're talking about, this group, they're talking about this family. The people are gathered around and they are talking. They're doing a lot of talking. And like I said, they're kind of like saying, well, I wonder, and they're putting, they're trying to remember times and things about themselves when somebody caused problems for them because somebody was just feeling a certain way. Now they feel so bad because now they understand why you took your space, why you are by yourself. People are looking at you and they're hoping that they can have the opportunity to apologize to you. They're hoping that they can have the opportunity to be in front of you, just to hug you, to say, you know what, I'm sorry, whatever they want to say, because they know who you are. And they know that you spoke the truth. They remember who you are. You wasn't anybody that brought chaos. You was the gift. I feel like this father figure is trying to make plans to visit, to drive, to come see you or something. But you know what? And it's almost like you're not even, you don't even want to, you're afraid to even extend the offer, the invitation, or accept the offer, or to even see this person, because you feel like this person is just going to get you tied up or try and keep you trapped in some sort of cycle, and then just trying to justify it like it's love. But that is not love. This person sent out attacks and you had to protect yourself from this emperor. That wasn't love. That wasn't love. That was abuse. Someone doesn't want that to come out. They want it to be, what happens in this house stays in this house. But something is coming out. Someone knows that things are about to, are showing back up. They couldn't hide this. They're expecting this. Someone is expecting someone else to just leave. No, it's not even about leaving. At this point, it's almost like breaking free. Because that person was also abused. That person was also abused. That person realized that they abused someone else that they love, because they were continuing on that, perpetuating that cycle. And they're shocked. It's like, once you allow yourself to sit back and think, you know what, damn, I did this too. I did this, I did that. Somebody is recognizing that what they worked on, what they were doing the same thing. That's what they were working on. So now somebody understands that it's time for them to change that whole dynamic, to have that wheel of fortune turn the opposite way, and someone realizes it's time for them to leave. It's time for them to save themselves. Because they know something is coming back in. If they put it out there, they know that they're going to have to pay the piper. They're going to have to answer that call. What's the message, Spirit? Yeah, I'm telling you, somebody it's like they have to step out on faith. They know that they have to leave whatever this family was, or whatever this situation was. They want to call themselves a family, but it was abusive. They know it's time for them to leave. And they're not shocked. It's like, it's shocking, but this person isn't shocked. It's almost like they just opened up their eyes. They just started doing their own research to find out what was really going on. Because this person, they were trying to figure out why you were so protective, why they were trying to figure out why you were so protective, why you did this, why you did that, why you acted this way, why you acted that way. And it was because you had to protect yourself from this abuser. Because you know what? Whenever you are coming up in an abusive home, and this King of Cups is realizing when you're coming up in an abusive home, and you don't want the abuse to happen to you. So you tend to say, well, it's not that bad. They can handle it, because you don't want that heat to come to you. And somebody's realizing that's what they was doing. They didn't want that smoke to come their way, so they was accepting what somebody else was having to go through, instead of them standing up and saying, don't you know you're abusing us? Don't you know you are mistreating us? Don't you know you are causing us to be fucked up? See, it was like somebody didn't feel like they were strong enough to make that declaration. Oh, wait. I messed myself up. Splitting the cards. Yeah, they didn't feel like they were strong enough to make that declaration, to say what needed to be said. And maybe, they saw you say what needed to be said, and then they saw the reaction. That's like maybe when you said what needed to be said, somebody really started coming down on you. Somebody really tried to make your life hell. That's when somebody was really determined to go around town, spreading lies, spreading gossip, trying to get people to misuse you, abuse you, do wrong shit to you. It's like they was trying to get you hurt. That's what it was. Someone was trying to get you hurt. Somebody else didn't want that because they saw it. And they're having to sit. Somebody else is they're waking up. They're going through their own dark night of the soul. They see how they need to actually give you an apology, how they need to bring you some flowers, how this person really needs to make up to you, because they allowed somebody to abuse you. They allowed this witch confirmation. They allowed this witch to come up after you. But now they see that you're free. You got your wish fulfillment and you are free. They're also seeing, I feel like this person, this King of Pentacles, I feel like this person is being visited by their angel guides, by their ancestors. And they're having to explain things. They're praying right now for forgiveness. They're praying right now for healing because they know how they treated you. They know what type of parent they were, what type of family member it was. Like I said, this is somebody who purposely went out to badmouth you, to cause these strikes against you, to have people just really abuse you. Sorry if y'all can hear my stomach, but I'm hungry too. And you didn't understand what was going on at first. You didn't know who this person was at first or what they was really doing. But now you got it. Now you understand who this was. And now the whole world is understanding who this person is. Everybody sees why you kept your distance from this relationship, because that was nothing that you wanted. You had to protect your heart. You had to use your intuition. You had to do you. And this is now you're getting good karma. You're getting that Dharma, and the other person is getting karma. And their karma is they can no longer approach you. You don't want nothing to do with them. And now everybody is looking at them and they don't really want anything to do with them because they feel like they were inspiring abuse. Nobody wants to feel like that. Hey, Shaylin. Hey, LJ. All these lies, all this manipulation, all this untrue shit directed at you, all because somebody felt a certain way because they couldn't control you, because you had your own brain. That's why you left. Whether it was physical abuse, emotional, mental, financial, spiritual, it's all the same. They're stuck. And they're not going to be released until they deal with this. Until they deal with, why they did this. What it was about, whatever it was about you, but more importantly, what it was about themselves. And why instead of them letting you go and allowing you to be happy, they want to try and keep you stuck. Because they surely didn't appreciate you. They surely couldn't see the value in you. If they did, or if they could, they would have never mistreated you. Hey, she's lit 420. Thank you so very much. And I will accept all the love and the light, the hugs, the well wishes that y'all send my way. I appreciate you all. Yes, you using your own intuition is and doing what you know you needed to do because you knew you weren't being treated right. You knew you were being treated extremely, very 1000% wrong. And this is why this person is getting this karma. This is why their heart will never be healed. This is why they can't approach you. This is why people are looking at you and they were wondering why you was all the way on the outside and that whole family, everybody else is over here. You're over here protecting yourself, staying to yourself. But now they understand what it was about. Somebody thought that the motto was, what happens in this house stays in this house. That's what the motto was. That's what they wanted. That's what somebody thought that they was instilling in you. I can do whatever I want to do, and what happens in this house stays in this house. Ain't nobody gonna know about the abuse that I've been giving to you, hurting you maliciously for no fucking reason for your entire life or however this long. Somebody felt like they had you trained, but not any longer. Not any longer. You are here to speak your truth. You prayed about this. You waited for the perfect timing for this, and this is the perfect time, because you know what? Abuse never gets to go free. If we don't speak about it, it continues. But when you bring it out, when you let people know what is happening, that's when things stop. Because now you letting somebody know what's happening. You're not just telling one person and saying, don't tell nobody. You telling the world. You telling it all. You telling it. That's what stops the shit, because then you put that person on Front Street. They better not lay a motherfucking finger on you and harm you, because then everybody knows who did it. Hey, Tyreek. Everybody knows who did it. So abuse is not okay. It's not what happens in this house stays in this house. Not unless y'all just won the lottery and you're sitting in the house counting your money. Then that should stay in the house, sure. But somebody mistreating you or somebody else that you love, speak up. Because it's you next. Somebody realizes they caught themselves up because they thought they had you trained. No, boo-boo. You wasn't training me. You should have been training yourself. That's why you don't want nothing to do with this person. Who the fuck wants to be abused? People are looking at you and they're like, this, you have the best heart in the world. You always trying to help. You're always going above and beyond. You're always this. You're always, people are like, when they think of responsible, when they think of kind, when they think of helpful, when they think of caring, when they think of empathy, when they think of compassion, they think of you. That other person, on the other hand, when they think of that person, they think of them. They see how evil that person is, how that person wants to get back at you. This is like the revenge. Most revengeful person in the world. They want to get back at you and they want to just totally destroy you. How the fuck is that love? Whether you see someone doing it to you or someone else, how the fuck is that love? Somebody has to look at themselves. They really do. They're looking at themselves and they got that weapon in their hand. They thought that was big. They thought they were so strong. They thought that their ego was allowing them just to do whatever. Now everybody's looking at this person like, oh, that's a shame. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. Oh. Well, these people ought to be ashamed too, because they saw what the fuck was going on. They know why you was always by yourself, always the single man out. You know, they was discussing you, so they know why you was the one out. You was always the one that they said, oh, this should have never happened. They won't be able to get that. They won't be able to do this. They won't. But I'm telling you, they've been talking about you and they've been watching you work and get better for the longest time. And now they see everything that you've done, everything that you are. Hey, it's just Robbie. How are you? But most of all, they see how you went confirmation. And you start, you know, it's like you did this for you and you also did this for you. It's like you made it. You made it out and you protected yourself. And now this wheel of fortune is turning in your favor and this other person is shocked. They're shocked because they thought the truth would never come out. They thought that these lies and these uh curses that they place upon you, that shit would never come out. But people are talking about this now. People are like looking at this person like, damn, like what was really going on? Like that now they're starting to wake up, and they're starting to look at themselves like, what did they condone as well? Because they knew it was all lies. They could look and tell, but see, they was afraid to take that smoke. They was afraid to stand up and say, you know what? I'm not putting up with this bullshit. You bullying somebody. You trying to purposely cause all this conflict. You trying to cause somebody to have these generational curses. You somebody they're feeling a certain way too, because they didn't say nothing when they had the chance. And now that you spoke up, now somebody wants to, oh, well, I do it should have, I think now I'm looking at myself. Yeah. Now that you're looking at yourself and somebody's watching you, they watching you. And they are upset too, because you talking about this generational curse, how somebody perpetuated this bullshit onto you. This person is thinking that they chose the wrong one. They sure the fuck did. The right one and the wrong one all wrapped up in the same one. What you say? I got time today. I got time today. Now this person is trying to figure out, how they can get themselves out of this. They trying to figure out what can they say, what can they do, what can they conjure up to get themselves out of this? Absolutely fucking nothing. You should have been conjuring some health. That's what you should have been doing, conjuring. You should have been conjuring a right frame of mind. That's what you should have been conjuring. You should have been conjuring some counseling. That's what your ass should have been conjuring. Not no fucking spells. If only they knew. That's what I'm hearing. If only they knew. Yes, if only you knew. If only they knew, they wouldn't have done this old dumb shit. If only they knew, they wouldn't have made it so that you had to fucking leave just to protect yourself. If only they knew. If only they had gotten some help. If only they had said, you know what? This really doesn't make me feel good about myself when I do this to somebody else. Maybe I should get checked out. That's what they should have been saying. This doesn't make me feel good. Maybe whenever I'm doing this bulldog butt fuckery to somebody else, maybe I should get checked out. That's what they should have said. Yes. If they love their family, because this is the same person talking about how much they love their family. No, the fuck you don't. You didn't love your family until somebody has said enough of this bullshit. I got to speak my motherfucking peace. Put this shit behind me. Yes. Now they love their family. Oh, really? Oh, okay. That's what love is. That how you love it? Now that they're being judged. Now they are being judged. But you know what? Like I said, their ancestors came to them and told them a long time ago, hey, you better hold that shit down. You getting a little outrageous with that shit. You better rein that shit in. Fuck you thought this was. Hold up, player. The fuck you thought this was. You gonna regret all this shit. You leaving somebody out in the cold, not even helping this person, and then have nothing but horrible things to say about you. Better hold that shit down, motherfucker, because that shit is coming right back on your ass. They thought they could do whatever, and this shit, they was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Nobody really sees what I'm doing. I'm gonna plant this, I'm gonna plant that, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna say that. They didn't think that it was all going to come into fruition. But guess what? They was doing it for so damn long that everybody see exactly what they was working on. Everybody sees who was doing what. And now they sitting here like, well, damn, I can't hide this shit from nobody. No, everybody knows. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. Like I said, everybody knows how you had to gain your strength and walk the fuck away. And you had to walk away and stay away and be determined that no matter what went on, no matter what went down, you was not going to go back. You know how hard you have to work? Hey, Demita, how are you? You don't have anybody that you can hold. I can't make this up. You don't have anybody that you can depend on. You can only depend on you. That's it. Just you. Because you know what? You have these crazy ass people in your life. Could have been your parents. Crazy ass people in your life. Both of them had problems. They both had problems with you because they was jealous because you was a star seed. You was a child and a star seed. They saw what you brought to the table. They saw that fire within you. They know this, and they wanted to beat the shit out of you. They wanted to take this. They wanted to turn your life around. They didn't want you to know your power, your strength. They didn't want you to know about your gifts. They didn't want you to know about nothing. And now these people are sitting here looking at you, and they understand that they brought this on themselves because they tried to do you. The others in your family, they're feeling bad. They're feeling really bad because they was talking about you but not helping you. And now you're the one who's independent. You're the one with the resources. You're the one that don't need them. They need you. And they sitting here looking stupid for doing this. They need you. Somebody talking about I love my family. Somebody else was like, oh, really? So if you love your family, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you do what God asked you to do when they was born, when they came here? Somebody had to remind somebody they didn't ask to be born. It was your choice to bring them here. So while they're here, since it was your choice, why mistreat them? Somebody didn't want you to be better than them. They wanted you to be worse off than them because they hate their life and they wanted you to hate yours. They wanted to feel like they were taking on your life and casting you out of your life because instead of them working on themselves, they didn't. But they saw you working on you and they didn't like that because then that meant that you were going to bypass who they were. And for whatever reason, who the fuck is worried about somebody else getting further ahead in life? You need to worry about self. I'm only worried about me, how far I'm going to get. I don't care about what the neighbors got, what my cousins got, what my siblings got, what my parents, I don't care about that. And with my son, I want him to do 10 times better than what I'm doing. 100 times. And my grandson, I want him to do 1,000 times better than what my son is doing and what I'm doing. There's no way I want anyone that comes from me to do worse. But these people were fucked up in the head. King of Swords, it's time for this to come out. Someone is speaking their piece. They're telling everybody about how they was treated, how they were treated. They're telling everybody about the things that they didn't know that went on behind those closed doors. And I'm telling you, this King of Pentacles, this father figure is so worried about it because their whole reputation is on the line. I don't want nobody to know about the real me. Oh, it's coming out. They were not just at all. They were not just at all. If anything, they committed spiritual crimes. They did whatever they could to take you out because they didn't want you to be a mother. They didn't want you to be loving. They didn't want you to have love. They didn't want you to even know what the word love meant. They wanted to take you out. We're not even supposed to be here. I'm telling you, this is somebody who was perpetuating a generational curse. You cannot make this shit up. They couldn't see what they were doing. They could have, but they didn't want to, because then that would have meant that they had to look at themselves. That would have meant that they would have had to ask for forgiveness. They would have had to get help if they looked at what they were actually doing. But instead, no, they was like, I'm good. I'm good. Ain't nothing bothering me. Even if something was bothering them, you say, what's wrong? Nothing. I'm good. Nothing bothering me. Even if something was seriously wrong, this person has some mental issues that they wasn't even dealing with. They hadn't dealt with those in a long time, and they still haven't dealt with them. Telling you this, it was like this couple. This is a karmic couple. This is a karmic couple. They both were abusers. Both of them wanted something to end for you. They both wanted things to end for you. And they had their own. One had this type of generational curse from their family. The other had this type of generational curse from this family. You was the one, the unlucky one, to have to break both of that shit. You was doing double duty. Shit, there was probably like a couple of months that you really did not sleep at night or sleep at all. It's because you was being spiritually attacked and you were having to fight spiritually. Yes. This is what you had to really work on yourself and work on these attacks, work on these lies and everything. But you did it. You did it. You made it. You won. You won. And now they know there's nothing else that they can do. Absolutely nothing. They can't even touch you. They can't even defend themselves at all. And you know what? You're doing it. You're moving forward. Spirit is moving you forward, and you got something to say. You talking about everything. You bringing it out. You're letting them know. Telling you, you made that judgment call. You're doing the right thing. You are doing the right thing. Because you're not going to sit here and just hold it in. You're telling everybody you need to heal from this. This is what I had to heal from. This is what I had to balance my life out from. This is what was going on. This is what these people were doing behind the scenes. Like they were purposely planning, looking at shit, looking to see how they could get, and then teaming up, and then, like I said, leaving you out, and then ignoring you, and then trying to see how it was going to affect you, how it was going to fuck your life up. That's what their plan was. How to fuck your life up. That's why Spirit said, no, it's time to talk. It's time to get it out in the open. Forget sparing their feelings because they didn't spare yours. Forget not wanting them to feel a certain way because they didn't give a shit how you felt. Forget saying, well, I don't want to look bitter because they looked bitter. Forget all of that. They forgot it. They didn't care. They didn't care. Remind yourself, you weren't even supposed to be here. They were hidden enemies. You were not supposed to even be here. You were supposed to have been gone a long time ago. They were supposed to have been like, oh, let's go on to the graveside. Hey, Aisha, let's go to the graveside, the unmarked grave, and put a single flower It's been a few years. Yeah, I'm telling you, they wasn't going to do you right. They was never going to do you right. They was always going to do you wrong. Always. And now guess what? It's time for them to get this karma. It's time for somebody to get this karma. Because, see, somebody wasn't there. They didn't protect you like they should have. They didn't raise you like they should have. They didn't add to your comfort. They didn't add to, them teaching you about finances, about protecting yourself, about this, about that, about anything. They didn't do none of that shit. None of it. You had to teach yourself. You had to learn yourself. You had to be your own mother. You had to be your own father. You had to be your own support. You had to be your own cheerleader. You had to be your own cheerleader. What's the message? And see, they should have, like they say, oh, don't say nothing bad about me. Well, you should have been nicer to me. If you was nicer to the collective was going to have some nice things to say about you. But if you treated the collective like shit, what you think that you going to get? Who you thought that you was? See, somebody forgot about all that bullshit that they said about you. And now that it's your turn to do the talking. They're like, I don't want nobody to think bad about me. Don't tell nobody. I don't want them to think that they should look at me any differently. See, now they have a clue. With the hangman in reverse. Someone is awake now. Now they get it. Now they understand. They was a little bit, not a little bit, they was way too rough with you. They was doing shit to you that they didn't even have to do. They was doing shit to you. This could have been your mother and you. And then there's a whole bunch of confusion. It's like, and this could have even been your mother was doing shit to you because your father was pissing your mother off. That happens. That happens. Hold on, yeah. I kind of felt like, yeah, maybe somebody was, if you had some karmic parents, like I had, if one did something to piss the other off, like with me, I'm my father's oldest child. Even though I have an older sister and brother, I'm my father's first child. So anytime my father would do anything to piss my mother off, oh, my mother came after me. Oh, she came lock, stock, and barrel after me. I'm blessed that she did not have a gun. I would truly not be here. What's the message? And anytime that she did something to piss him off, he would try and throw me in the middle of it to piss her off some more. You see, these two were psychotic and crazy at the same fucking time. Karmic, psychotic, crazy, deranged, and the fucking Lulu at the same damn time. And they sitting here bringing all this shit to the collective for no damn reason. This is the type of energies. What's the message? Yeah, I'm telling you. Somebody worrying about how they're gonna look. But wait, what's everybody gonna say about me? That you an abuser? That you've been making shit up? That you've been doing this kind of shit since your kids were small? Since you were small? And it could have been that they went through something as children. But you know what? Just because you went through something as a child, okay, so that means you got to get the help, right? Yes. It's like they got to get the help. It's like they felt like they see whenever they were going through it, they was afraid to speak up. They was afraid to say anything. They was afraid to separate themselves. They was afraid to notice it. They was afraid to do anything. So they just sat there and they just acted like they didn't see anything. Like everything is all good. It's all good. It's all good until they got into a relationship. And then that's whenever, they was doing shit, like with this person to try and end them or this, that, and the other. And somebody had to leave and blah, blah, blah. Then somebody left. They was looking for some healing. And then somebody's like, oh, over my damn dead body, I'm really going to get you, bitch. All this crazy shit. It's this type of shit, this important shit, this truthful shit. This is what people need to know about. This is what people need to know about that goes on from whenever you was a child. This is the shit that people carry with them for eons, for decades, and they continue to perpetuate that shit. See, this King of Cups, I feel like they was looking at who they was working with. And I feel like this King of Cups, their third eye open, because then they realized about this whole family situation. That wasn't no happy family, because then they was looking at what they was doing, how they was talking, how they was gossiping. You can't make this up. And now somebody's speaking the truth. They can't wait to get it out. This is being on the internet. This is in the print. This is in the neighborhood. This going all over. It's viral. This is viral. All because somebody couldn't figure out, what their triggers were, or why they was even triggered over some bullshit that they shouldn't even have been taken on, because it wasn't even their bullshit. Somebody was abused too. And instead of them working to fight, to let that abuse go, they continued. And so then that's when, people had to protect themselves against this abuser. Telling you, somebody, they walked around, they sat on their high horse for so long. And now people are just finally starting to understand that, what? Someone is defending themselves. Somebody was removed. They had to protect themselves from this person. And that Wheel of Fortune is going back around, because they're looking at the nature of these relationships and everything else. And somebody they can't lie about it anymore. They can't just say, well, oh, blah, 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 whatever. Hey, AJ, how are you? Yeah, it's coming like, the truth has to come out. Somebody's been carrying around these burdens for too long, for way too long. And these are not this person's burdens to carry. This is not this person's burdens to carry. They say, well, what happens in the house stays in the house. No. We're not talking no pansy shit. If you do some shit wrong and your parents, you get in trouble by your parents. No, if you did something wrong, yeah. But if your parents come in the house and they pissed off because they had a hard day at work and they going off on you and hitting you and throwing chairs at you and calling you out like your name, that's abuse. You ain't do nothing to them. Anything else, Miss Deck Spirit? Yes. Something about this relationship is over. This shit is not even working. Somebody, they healed themselves. They had to heal themselves. It's like they had to find, their spot. They had to find what their inheritance was and reclaim that. And they did it. When they spoke their piece, when they told the truth, when they told everyone what was really going on. Everything that was fishy that was in that cup, they put it all out there. People was like, I didn't know that was. Yes, it was that too. Now they feeling all types of ways of why I did that, why did I do that, why didn't I, why wasn't I? But they wasn't feeling like that when they wanted to keep you stuck and trapped. They wasn't feeling like that when they was willing to take this wand and hit you with it to destroy any and every type of relationship, opportunity, newness, happiness. They didn't give a shit then. They didn't give a shit then. Like I said, they didn't give a shit. They was just all in it. They was like, well, what can I do next? What can I get into next? How can I beat this person down next? But now everybody's hearing about it. Oh, it's different now. Now that everybody's hearing about it, now they want to be like, oh no, I love my family. I love them. Yeah. I do apologize if y'all can hear my stomach. Oh, I'm about to eat. Guess I'm going to make me a waffle this morning or some pancakes. What's the message, Spirit? Mm-hmm. Love you. Love yourself enough to tell the truth. Love yourself enough to tell everybody what really went on. Love yourself enough not to discount how you felt and not to discount the healing that you need. This is somebody has to go within. They went within. They found that this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. That's what I'm hearing. They found that light within themselves. And I feel like this person is really looking at the relationship and how somebody's looking at this relationship and how they are meant to be with you. But they're trying to plan how to come see you or something but they know that you are guarded. I don't feel like this is the abuser. I feel like this is someone else outside of that abuser. Yeah, because this is somebody who just watched somebody attack you and didn't say anything. But now that whole story, that whole myth of the happy home life is over, now this person feels like the wheel of fortune is turning in their favor for them to go ahead and approach you and have a discussion about things that went on. Because like I said, somebody knows everything that they put out, it's on its way back. There's nothing they can do. They are going to be stuck in this cycle. And that money that they thought that they was going to have, all the support, all the resources, all of that is going to be over. It's done. Someone didn't know that you had all the power in your hands. And they didn't know that they were not going to be able to protect themselves against you. See, they thought that you wasn't going to be able to protect yourself against them. They didn't know that you was the one who had all the power. And they should have been the one that was treading lightly, walking on eggshells. One more. Anything else? Thank you. Yeah. They don't want you to say something so bad, but it's too late. They don't want you to speak, but it is too fucking late. Yeah, you getting up all the evidence, you telling all the secrets. You don't care. You don't care any longer. This works for you. And that's all they need to worry about. That works for you. This has been a long time coming. Somebody been trying to do this shit for a long time. They've been ganging up against you for a long time. They wanted you to be confused as to who you were forever. And now you bringing the tea. You bringing the whole tea. It's like, yeah, don't ever underestimate. The one that you think is the weakest usually turns out to be the strongest. And it's like, why would you ever underestimate anyone? What else, Spirit? Okay. Something about some child is confused. And maybe somebody don't like to listen. But we just know that you survived everything. While this other person had their head stuck up in their own ass, couldn't see that they was mistreating, abusing, or anything. And you left this toxic family or group. You had to. You know, you saved your legacy because the Most High favors you. You know, you're not stressed, but they are, because they know that truth is coming out. This emperor knows that the truth is coming out. And next year, this could be the beginning of next year. Next year, something's getting ready to happen. And they cannot make it make sense. They can't make it make sense with nobody as to why they did what they did. Somebody's like, make it make sense. All right, y'all. I'm going to leave it right there so I can go to work, do my straight 8, and I'll see you this evening. Thank you so very much. I love you all. Have a great day. Bye now.